What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, Tom Aspinall, I mean, what can I say? This guy absolutely over-delivered last night, submitting Alexander Volkov in the first round, absolutely rose to the occasion. What did you think about his performance?
Well, I thought it was pretty epic, and to hold all the weight of the main event on your shoulders, and that be really your coming out party, and to show up against a guy like Volkov, get the first round finish, and really just put a perfect cap to a perfect night for UK fighters, fans, was really, really impressive.
I absolutely think it was. And don't forget that Alexander Volkov is no easy guy to finish.
No.
He's a guy that Cyril Gane could not finish, and we just saw Cyril go all 5 rounds with the champion Francis Ngannou in a title fight. So I could not be more impressed with Tom Aspinall's skill set. He's great with the boxing, he's great with the takedowns, and he has real submission skills. And you don't see a lot of guys at heavyweight that have a deep understanding of jiu-jitsu and really high-level submission skills. We saw him lock up a Kimura grip on Volkov. Volkov did the proper defense, which is to straighten your arm out when you have that Kimura lock on you, and he transitioned seamlessly right into the straight armbar. This guy's a problem for a lot of people at heavyweight, especially given the fact that he can get the takedowns, and a lot of heavyweights are not used to fighting out of submissions very often.
Yeah, if he's able to continue taking these big heavyweights down, and Volkov's one of the biggest heavyweights on the roster, so I have reason to believe that he'll be able to take pretty much everybody in the division down. If he's able to hold them down like that and work those submissions from the top, I think we could be seeing a submission ace up there at the heavyweight division, which is pretty cool, pretty unique, very interesting to watch. Obviously, it's a high percentage way to get to a title fight. 1 or 2 more fights like that, and we've got a guy that's now talking about fighting probably for the belt or against the absolute best heavyweights on the planet.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he called out Tai Tuivasa, which I think was a great call out, because you have to, any good call out, you have to be aware of a couple things. You have to be aware of what you can actually get and where you actually stand. Otherwise, you just kind of look silly with your call out. And given the fact that Stipe Miocic is coming back at some point, we do have John Jones looming around there. Cyril Gane is there. The champion is now out for 9 months. Dana White said in an interview with Barstool Sports that he thinks that there is almost 100% chance that there will be an interim belt contested at heavyweight this year. It's unlikely that Aspinall or Tuivasa will be one of those 2 fighters given the top of the heavyweight division right now. So what do you do in that case? You call for a really, really fun fight, which Tuivasa versus Aspinall. Sign me up for that. Take my money. That is a fight night main event, if not the co-main event on a major pay-per-view card. That's a great fight.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, and I don't think Tai Tuivasa would turn that fight down for a second.
No.
Obviously, Tom Aspinall wants to fight. The fans would love to see something like that because you're guaranteed a finish if they go at it. You know, Tom's either knocking him out or submitting him, and Tai obviously is either going to knock him out or get knocked out. So it's a great fight all around, and if the UFC wants it, they will make it, and it'll likely happen towards the end of the year. It's so smart for him to call that fight instead of one of those other guys, because as we've seen over the past, I guess a year or maybe even a little bit longer, Stipe is kind of turning down a lot of fights as he's earned the right to do. John Jones is kind of waiting for the right fights as he's earned to do. Francis Ngannou is at a stalemate with the UFC, so that's not really a good call out. So I think, the only person in the top 5, 7, 8 that's willing to fight people, and it doesn't really matter about the rankings, is Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
And we saw he just went with Tai Tuivasa. It didn't go his way, but he gave that guy an up-and-comer a shot. It didn't work out for him, but it really did rise Tai Tuivasa to another level. I think that Ty's doing all the right things, aligning himself with the Nelk boys and going viral for the shoey and everything like that. And I think Tom Aspinall and Tai are definitely 2 of the staples in the future of the heavyweight division. Getting them in there early is probably a really cool thing to do, because later on in their careers, we could see a rematch where there's a belt on the line, or a trilogy series between those guys if they are able to split 2 fights, or their epic performances, or their really, really close matches that would warrant a rematch or even a trilogy.
No, I think that you absolutely could be right on the money there. It could happen before one of the two of them gets the belt, and then we see a rematch thereafter. I think that fight ends in a knockout or a submission pretty early. I have no idea which way it would go. But just talking about Tom Aspinall's skill set, the takedown that led to that submission was what to me makes Tom very, very scary for a lot of heavyweights in the division. You have a lot of good heavyweights. Alexei Oleinik comes to mind, right? He's really good with submissions, but he's literally having to get mounted before he can submit you. And so that's a dangerous game to play at heavyweight. You don't want to be on the bottom of anybody in the heavyweight division. So what you need if you're going to play a really good submission game, and we probably haven't seen a submission ace in the heavyweight division like this since maybe Frank Mir was snapping people's arms out of socket back in the day. Yeah. What you really need is the ability to get somebody down effectively and safely. The way he timed that, he baited Volkov into the strike that he wanted. He then slipped beautifully, perfect timing, got the double leg takedown, advanced position, and got the submission. So it wasn't just the submission, it was his itself. It was the fact that he's got these beautiful takedowns that he can sort of time and execute at his will that I think makes him a real problem for people like, let's say, for example, a Cyril Gane, somebody who did have some problems getting up off the bottom with Francis, did get taken down by Francis. And while Francis is the best, baddest man on the planet, best fighter in the world, he's not the best wrestler in the world, not by a pretty wide margin. And so if you can get taken down by Francis multiple times, you can certainly get taken down by Tom Aspinall. And I think his submission game is far better than Francis's.
Yeah, I think, it might be a little early to predict, but Tom Aspinall is a nightmare matchup for Cyril Gane. I don't think Cyril Gane wants to fight him at all right now. What I really liked is obviously Tom Aspinall is a star. He's a star in the making. And last night was really one of those nights that you saw a star get born because everybody in that region of the world got behind their guy. And obviously Paddy the Baddy, brings the numbers, and I think he's well on his way to being a, Conor McGregor style star if he's able to continue winning. 2 wins, 2 first-round finishes in his UFC, and he's already just blowing the roof off of big arenas in the UK. So I think that was really big, but they got behind Tom Aspinall just like they got behind Paddy, and now they know they have a guy in the heavyweight division that is promising, clearly going to be a top contender, and somebody that they can really get behind. So I think the sky's the limit. He's now got the entire country behind him, and I think there's going to be a major push for this, stable of British fighters. They're coming onto the scene hot. They're all really good on the microphone. They're all fun and entertaining. They do great walkouts. They do great fighting, clearly, and they do great post-fight speeches. So they kind of all have everything you want out of an entertainer, a character, and a fighter. So I think this is maybe the most exciting time to be a UK combat sports fan and to be a UK-based MMA fighter.
No doubt. Well, guys, I said it before the fight, and I'll say it again. I think the UK's next UFC champion will be Tom Aspinall. I was blown away by his performance, as was Nick. Drop us a comment and let us know what you thought. Until the next one, have a wonderful day.
Peace.